The Phillies dropped the series opener at home at Citizens Bank Park to the Milwaukee Brewers last night on Friday night, 6-2, in a night that the offense just wasn't clicking. The offense was cold, they were quiet, they had just 4 hits and 2 runs in that 6-2 loss against the Brewers. Obviously, the Phillies aren't going to win every single game, so it's nothing major to worry about. The Brewers are a pretty good team here in 2025, so you can't win them all. They drop it 6-2. They're right back at it today, Saturday, and then Sunday tomorrow to close out this 3-game series against the Brew Crew. Anyway, this is Phillies Daily. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you subscribe for more Phillies content, and let's get this thing rolling today. So, obviously, the biggest news the last week, I should say, is Bryce Harper got nailed in his right surgically repaired elbow on Tuesday against the Atlanta Braves and Spencer Strider, their starting pitcher. Obviously, Bryce Harper is one of the top players in all of Major League Baseball. He's the face of the Phillies, one of the faces of the MLB. He is a superstar player. He is an elite talent. So the whole Phillies fan base, the MLB world, they were hoping Bryce Harper. Nothing serious happened with him. He did go down in a lot of pain after taking that 95-mile-per-hour fastball to the elbow, and he immediately left the game in that first inning. Luckily for him and the Phillies, the x-rays came back negative, but he hasn't played since then. He missed the Phillies. They were rained out Wednesday, so they had a doubleheader against the Braves to close out that 3-game series against their rivals. Bryce Harper did not appear in either of those 2 games of that doubleheader on Thursday, and then he was not in the lineup Friday night against the Milwaukee Brewers to open up that series. He is said to still be super sore in that right elbow, as you could imagine, after taking the 95-mile-per-hour fastball right to it. Like I said, his surgically repaired elbow. So, still super sore, but it's believed that he is not going to land on the injured list, which is a good sign, which means he is not expected to miss too much time. Obviously, the Phillies need Bryce Harper in the lineup. He is a guy that can get the offense rolling. He is a guy that can make things happen anytime he steps to the plate. He's been solid at first base since making that position change a few years back. So his return is unknown at the moment, but it's a good sign that they're not expecting him to land on the injured list, which means it's just something to monitor throughout the rest of the weekend, throughout the next couple of days, to see how that elbow recovers and if that soreness goes away sooner rather than later, because the Phillies need him and Bryce Harper needs to be in the lineup. Some rumors that have been going around lately with the Phillies, obviously the outfield is an area of weakness. I've talked about it time after time. It's not a huge area of weakness, but it's something to look at, especially for the future, with some guys getting older, some guys on expiring contracts, some guys not living up to their expectations. But a name that's been floating around, honestly, the past couple years, linked to the Phillies, and recently again right now in 2025, is the Baltimore Orioles center fielder, outfielder, Cedric Mullins. He's been the subject of trade rumors, especially with the Orioles struggling in 2025. They are 20-36 entering Saturday today in 2025. They are last in the AL East, and their record of 20-36 is good for the 3rd worst record in all of Major League Baseball. The Orioles were a good team last year. They were expected to have a good team again this year. Just one of the biggest surprises so far of 2025 is how bad the Baltimore Orioles are. So a guy like Cedric Mullins, he is on the trade rumors. The rumor mill, I should say. Obviously, when a team's struggling, they are going to have a lot of good teams reaching about their players' availability as the trade deadline nears at the end of July. And the Phillies have been seriously linked to Cedric Mullins. He did just land on the 10-day IL yesterday with a hamstring strain. He spent 8 years so far with the Baltimore Orioles in his major league career. He's a left-handed center fielder. Honestly, could play anywhere in the outfield, but he's 30 years old. He was an all-star in 2021 and a Silver Slugger in 2021. He had 30 home runs in that 2021 All-Star season. He has speed. He's had 30 or more steals in 3 of his 8 professional baseball major league seasons. All once in 2022, his All-Star season, again in 2022, or 2021, did I say that? 2021, his All-Star season. 2022, he had 30 or more steals again. And then last year in 2024, he hit that mark once again. His most steals in a single season came in 2022, which was 34 steals. Now, this year, he hasn't been great at the plate. Like I said, the Orioles really haven't been a good team. So maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. But as of right now, he's batting .232. He's got a .324 on base percentage, a .448 slugging percentage, a .772 OPS. He's got 10 home runs, 31 RBIs, and he has 8 stolen bases so far in 2025. More impressively, he's batting .295 against left-handed pitching, which is always a plus in a lineup, especially as a left-handed hitter. He is going to be a free agent after the season, free agent in 2026, so that could lower the return if a trade were to happen for what the Orioles could get for him, especially with him struggling, especially with him only being a one-time All-Star throughout his 8-year career so far. So he's got everything that you would like. He can hit for power. He's got speed. He's obviously a proven outfielder at this level, and he could immediately help this Phillies team, even though he has been struggling a little bit here in 2025. But I would say he's an upgrade than what the Phillies have. Obviously, Nick Castellanos is the right fielder. Max Kepler, he's in a platoon role in left field. He's only signed for this 1 year, so right now. And then question marks in center between Johan Rojas and Brandon Marsh. If you saw one of my videos recently, I was talking about the possibility of maybe even looking to trade Brandon Marsh because he hasn't lived up to his expectations since the Phillies traded for him back in 2022. He's still 27 years old, but he's struggling. He struggled last year. He's struggling in 2025. He's just not a consistent player, especially at the plate. So he could be a piece that the Phillies look to move to upgrade, especially with a young guy in Justin Crawford in AAA tearing it up down there. He could come up and be a future outfielder for the Phillies. He's looking like he's going to be. So maybe you could do Brandon Marsh plus a mid to lower level prospect and then get Cedric Mullins, maybe even straight up for Brandon Marsh. Brandon Marsh has 2 years of club control left. He's 27 years old, so younger than Cedric Mullins is. And obviously, Mullins is going to be a free agent, like I said, after this season. So the Orioles may like the 2 years of club control, the youngerness of him, his potential maybe that he has as a struggling team. Might take a chance on just Brandon Marsh. Who knows? Just an option. Could get it done. Something to look forward to as the July 31st trade deadline nears. Obviously, the Phillies do have recent trade history with the Baltimore Orioles. They made 2 separate trades with them last year at the deadline. They traded 2 relievers to the Orioles. One trade involving Gregory Soto, and then another trade involving Sir Anthony Dominguez. So 2 separate trades. They have a history there. Maybe the Phillies call them up again and try to get a deal done to get some much-needed outfield help in Cedric Mullins. Like I said, a whole lot of rumors, not just being linked to the Phillies, but just regarding Cedric Mullins. He could be a name that could be traded. Now, talking about yesterday's loss against the Brewers, Taijuan Walker took the mound. He's been pretty solid between starting and the bullpen this year in 2025. He's impressed me. He's surprised me a whole ton so far. But he took the mound as Aaron Nola is still out with an ankle injury. So Taijuan Walker is in the starting rotation. Took the mound in that series opener against the Brewers, and it was classic Taijuan Walker performance. Vintage Taijuan Walker through his early parts of his Phillies career. He went just 4 innings, allowed 7 hits. He walked a batter. He allowed 4 runs. He did have 6 strikeouts, but he did pick up the loss as well in that 6-2 series opening loss against the Brewers. 2 of his 4 runs he allowed in the very first inning. And then in the 5th inning, which he didn't end up getting out in the 5th inning, that's when he was replaced by Tanner Banks. But first, he allowed a walk, and then he allowed a double. So he had 2 runners on, no outs in that 5th inning. Tanner Banks came in. Unfortunately, Tanner Banks let up a 3-run home run. So 2 of those runs were charged to Taijuan Walker because those 2 runners were inherited by Tanner Banks from Taijuan Walker. So he ended up allowing those 4 runs. Just like I said, just vintage classic Taijuan Walker poor performance, something that you hope doesn't turn into normalcy here in 2025 because, like I said, he has had an impressive season between the starting rotation and bullpen in both of those opportunities. A huge bounce-back season by him. So hopefully that was just an outlier of a performance, of an outing by Taijuan Walker, and he can get back on track to what he was doing earlier in the season and for much of the 2025 season because, especially when Aaron Nola comes back, having Taijuan Walker pitching well in a depleted, in a questionable bullpen would be a huge asset for the Phillies moving forward as they look to make a playoff push and a championship push. Somebody that is a huge piece in a potential playoff run and a potential championship push is the Phillies outfielder, right fielder, I should say, Nick Castellanos. Nick Castellanos has one more year left with the Phillies after 2025 before his contract's up. He's an aging veteran, but he is playing very good baseball so far in 2025. Obviously, he's been a streaky hitter, streaky player for the Phillies throughout his career so far, his 3 years. This is his 4th year with the team. But he has been one of the more, reliable, I would say, hitters, more dangerous hitters in the lineup for the Phillies. But he is having a very good 2025 season, almost reminiscent of his All-Star 2023 season, the only time he was an All-Star with the Phillies so far. Nick Castellanos, last night, hit a solo home run in the 7th inning. It made it a 5-2 game at the time. The Phillies were trailing the Brewers. It was his 5th home run of 2025. Obviously, you would like to see a little bit more home run production out of Nick Castellanos, but he is batting .288 so far with 14 doubles and 30 RBIs for the Phillies this year in 2025. Among qualified National League right fielders, Nick Castellanos has the most hits with 63 so far. He's tied for the most doubles at 14. He's got the 6th most runs scored, 26. He's tied for the 7th most home runs with 5. He's got the 5th most RBIs with 30. He's got the 2nd highest batting average at .288, the 7th highest on-base percentage at .328, the 4th highest slugging percentage at .420, the 6th highest OPS at .748. And like I said, those numbers are all among qualified National League right fielders. So he's right up there with the best of them. Obviously, he's first in a couple of those categories. And like I said, is he on pace to be another All-Star? Have another All-Star appearance with the Phillies so far, or in 2025, like I said. He made the All-Star team with the Phillies in 2023. And in 2023, through May 31st, which is today, Nick Castellanos was batting .290 with 18 doubles and 5 home runs, 28 RBIs. So extremely similar numbers. Obviously, he's batting .288 compared to his .290 in 2023. He has 4 less doubles so far than he did at this point in 2023. He's got the same amount of home runs, but he's got 2 more RBIs. So, Nick Castellanos, you may like him, you may not like him, but he's having a very good season for the Phillies, and he's also a very good fielder, which is surprising because he's known for his offense, known for his hitting throughout his Major League career, but he's getting things done. He's a well-rounded player right now in 2025, one of the Phillies' best players, and he should be getting early All-Star consideration, recognition as a right fielder in the National League. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content. Let's get back on track today against the Brewers. Win this game. Get back at it tomorrow. Win again. Get another series win. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, like I said, and go Phils.